Hey everybody, it's your girl Deanna here from Femme Fitale Fit Club. We are getting started with our chat. We normally have these on Saturdays, but I had a little issue, so we're doing it today at noon. Hope you guys can join us. Make sure you are sharing this with friends. Share it with your timeline. Share it on your timeline, and start watch parties. All of that good stuff. I am going to have Miss Kathy join us so we can get started. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, lady, how are you?
I'm feeling much better.
Good.
Part of my New Year's resolution, if I can call it that, is when I start feeling uncomfortable or a little bit of anything, I'm going right to the doctor or the right person to get it all checked out instead of letting it. So that is my little promise to myself. So that was yesterday.
Good. What did they say?
Yeah, it was
Was it infected? It
was. It is. Well, it still
okay.
is. But but they said I caught it early, so
Yes.
treatment should be quick and easy and all that fun stuff. So let's see who is here. We are a few minutes early, but wanted to give folks a chance to join in. I see 7 eyes watching us, including Kathy. So I have Wilnetta. I see Angel. All right, folks are joining. Make sure
Hey, guys.
when you join, make sure you put your name, the city or state or country that you're watching from, so that we know to shout you out. And I put in a full, robust description, so that instruction is up there in the description. If you'd like to get a consult with Kathy, there's information in the description for that, but I'll keep posting that as well as we get started. So other than that, how's things going with you? How's your weekend?
Oh, it's been great. It's been great.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to hear it. So we got 1 minute. I like to be prompt because I also and my clients know that.
Good. It is important.
Yes, we got Barbara from Connecticut. Hey, Barbara.
I can't see the comments.
Oh, I use my laptop too, so I use multiple devices. Hey, Talita.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let me do that. While we're getting set up here.
From Eastern Shore of Virginia. I didn't know in Virginia had an Eastern Shore or a location called Eastern Shore. Hey, Barb. Hey, Barbara. Where are you watching from? So guys, make sure you come with all the questions, okay? While we have this hour with Kathy around how to transition to sugar-free living. So Talita says, good morning, ladies. Yes, checking in from Philly, the city of brotherly love. We just had my husband made Philly steaks last night. It was good too.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely. Philly's in the house.
The thing I love about Philly is, like, here and other places, there's a McDonald's or there's a Burger King on every corner. In Philly, there's an Italian joint, and it's so much good. So much goodness.
Absolutely. We were driving back from New York through Pennsylvania, and I swear every exit in Pennsylvania was McDonald's. Every exit. I was like, this place, they're going to turn into a McDonald's. So let me know when you're ready.
Okay, let me.
And all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pop up my Facebook on my laptop so I can see all the comments.
Okay. And I'll share them too. And guys, so if you've joined my chat in the past, you know how this goes. I might be looking off while Kathy is talking. That's because I'm operating questions and all that stuff and trying to moderate and all of that, since I don't have an assistant. So, but I'm not trying to be rude. But I want to thank everyone this morning for joining the chat. We are talking to Kathy Sugar-Free Girl Williams about how to transition to sugar-free living. This is something she knows a lot about. She did it herself, and she's going to share some of the strategies that she used to make that transition. One thing I find so unique about Kathy's story is that I used to work with Kathy a long time ago, many moons ago, and big girl. She's not a big person, height-wise or girth-wise. So when she told me a few years ago that she was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, she was shocked, but I absolutely was shocked, because just by looking at her, I would never have thought that. But that gave her some motivation to make some changes in her life. And so she's going to share some of that with you today. And I hope this touches and helps someone out there listening today. And if it's not you, then share this information with someone you know and love, and hopefully it'll touch and resonate with them. But so first, with that said, let me welcome Kathy to this chat. It's normally the Saturday chat, but today's Sunday because, again, I had to switch the days. But we're flexible, right?
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
And hopefully it'll touch.
All right. I think we're ready.
Yeah. So, Kathy, introduce yourself to everybody.
So, guys, I am Kathy Sugar-Free Girl Williams, your sugar shrink, helping action takers and high achievers just like you to shift their mindset around sugar, shrink their consumption so that you can have those sustained results and continue to make an impact in the world. And so, quite simply, just like Deanna shared, I have been on this journey for the last 7 years. And probably just like you, when I started this, it was something that I had to make a mental shift and decided not to start a diet, but to actually make a lifestyle change. And there are differences in doing that, and it's absolutely changed my life. I've never done anything for 7 years. Prior to that, I'd never done anything for a year. So I had given up sugar for Lent, for a Daniel fast, or for whatever purpose. But I'd always gone back because I love Pepsi, I love caramel. I love, so I drink my calories. So I adore milkshakes and cookies and brownies and all the things. And so I had to make a mental shift. And it was one of those things that I would always tell myself that, oh, I could never give up this. I could never give up that. And it's all a story. Because once you make that decision, and that decision actually has to be for you, then you can do anything. And my mom has always told me that you can do anything you put your mind to, and it's absolutely the truth. So yeah, I can't wait to get started and help you guys on this journey.
So Kathy, so like I said in the opening, physically, you're petite, small, your dress size isn't considered, I don't even know if it was double digits per se, but how did you feel and what went through your head when you learned that you were pre-diabetic?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. For most of my adult life, I've been a size 8. I don't have any pictures to show you today, but one of my problem areas, just like for most of us, was my stomach. So the reason why I was a size 8, and I know there's a lot of you guys saying, "Oh, I wish I could be an 8," but I was healthy, but my genetics and our genetics play such a huge role in our health as well as our outcomes. If 2020 has taught us nothing else, is that our immune system and our underlying conditions really set the tone for how we deal with viruses and diseases that plague our bodies. But yes, so I was one of those 80-20 girls. So 80% of the time I ate healthy, I worked out, but 20% of the time I was eating and drinking all the things that I shouldn't have been eating and drinking. But I have heart disease in my background, in my genetics, as well as diabetes. And so it was one of those things that was always in the background, but that was something that my aunts had or cousins, but it was nothing that I had to be had to think of because I was a size 8, and like I said, it was just not in the forefront until I received that diagnosis. And as far as emotions, it took me back a couple of steps, because like I said, I'd had a couple of my aunts that had died from, not died from diabetes, but maybe the complications. So the heart attacks and that sort of thing. My grandmother, actually on my mother's side, actually passed away from diabetes. And so it was one of those things that from an emotional perspective, I just didn't want diabetes. And I kind of said to myself, okay, what do I have to do to make sure that I don't get this disease? Because to me, it's all about giving myself an injection in my stomach, and I didn't want any parts of that. But I felt like out of control. I felt like I had to give some things up. I felt just kind of that emotional roller coaster of, okay, what is this? What does it really mean for my life? And I kind of went down that train of what am I going to give up, as opposed to what do I get to do? And what do I get to have if I make some changes in my life? And that's how I made that shift from the woe is me, I can't believe, to, oh, guess what? I've got some control in this matter, because I was not diagnosed as having diabetes. I was diagnosed as having pre-diabetes. And so the thing that we don't realize is that it's kind of that wake-up call. We're in our 20s, we're in our 30s, living our best life, and we're not realizing that the decisions that we made all of those years kind of culminate into where we are health-wise today.
Yep.
And so nothing happens overnight. And we just have to take ownership of our health. And like I said, I was exercising. I wasn't out of shape by any means, but I wasn't doing it consistently. And I was drinking all my calories like I shared. And so I had to make some changes. I had to kind of make that mental shift, number one. And then number two, I had to go and get help. I had to really understand and investigate what this disease was and what it meant for my life and how I could make that change. So I hope that answers the question.
No, that's good. That's good. That's really good. So you said that you like all the things that had sugar in it. Pepsi. I was a Coke girl, but anyway, Pepsi and all those things. What were some of, it didn't happen overnight, but I think for some people it's like a huge, like, oh my gosh, what is the actual very next step? Be explicit.
So I have a 5-step process. I can't believe I don't have my book, but my book is here. It's upstairs. But it's on my bookshelf. So yeah. So the name of the book is "Oh So Sweet to Live Sugar Free: 5 Essential Strategies to Preventing or Eliminating the Progression to Diabetes." And so that first step was to decide. So there is absolutely a difference between going on a diet and making that lifestyle switch. The second step was I did research. I actually had to go to get some help. So second step was to seek help. So I went to a nutritionist, and she told me in no uncertain terms, well, first off, number one, she had the same reaction that you did, Deanna, that she was expecting a lot larger lady. And we kind of went through my family history. But she told me, she said, you're going to have to give up sugar. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What are you talking about that? It was like a 5 or 10 minute conversation. And I was telling her, I'm like, well, I thought if you had either carbs or you were eating something sweet, that if you ate protein and there was protein present, that helped your body to metabolize. So I told her, so Deanna knows I've been 20 plus years in the healthcare field. So I had all the answers. And she was like, sorry, you're going to have to give up sugar. I know, right? Yes.
Work healthcare, work around doctors and nurses in the lab for 20 years, and we're like, oh yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know, I know how it all worked out.
That's right. And so, so she told me, no, you're going to have to give up sugar. And so I had to actually come to that realization that I had to make that change in my life. And, you know, many people say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you're able to give up sugar and all the things that I just shared as far as my Pepsi and all the goodness. But the thing is that I had to, if I didn't want diabetes. And so what I did was, in that decision, I kind of committed and made a commitment to what it is that I wanted. And I want to be here for, to travel with my husband in our later years. I want the independence of being able to go where I want to go and do what I want to do in my later years. And now even, I want to be able to hike and not have knee problems. I want to be able to play with my kids and run and play basketball and with my sons and gymnastics with my daughters. All of those things that you get to do when you're your best you. And so that was the mindset shift I had to make. I actually sought help. So you definitely need to have a wealth of I call them power partners. So you need a nutritionist. You need to absolutely partner with your doctor. If you have heart issues, you need a cardiologist, you need a physical trainer. That's why you're here in this community. But the one thing that I'd also share is that you need accountability. So if you make a commitment like this to change your life, you need to tell as many people as possible, or you have a coach. You just like you have Deada as a coach. You have someone that, number one, knows your why you're making this lifestyle choice. Number two, will hold you accountable. Won't be your friend. Will hold you accountable to what it is you say you want, that vision you want. And number three, has actually been where you are. And so as a result, I mean, now like I said, if I didn't share, the Lord has put on my heart to prevent diabetes in 1 million people. And I do this because, number one, I was able to make this change in my own life. And I always, I can't help this, but like I shared, 7 years ago, I gave up sugar, and I have done all the research. I know all the things that taste good. There's nothing in my life that tastes like cardboard. I've done all the research, and I walk this thing. So all of the things that I eat are if I eat something with sugar in it, it's 5 grams of sugar or less. But the commitment that I made, I did not realize that I knew that I absolutely have purpose in life, but I didn't realize the decision I made 7 years ago would change the trajectory of my son's life. And so it's been a year ago, probably last week, my son was diagnosed as having type 1 diabetes. And so I'm going to explain the differences between type 1 and type 2. But type 2, we have control over. Our body still manufactures insulin. So insulin is necessary to break down the sugar, or actually open up the cells so that sugar can come into the cell so that it can create energy. And so that's why we're fueled by our food. And with type 2, our bodies stop producing insulin.
Type 1.
And so, or type 1, I'm sorry. Our body stopped producing insulin. And so when the cell doesn't open up, that sugar just kind of spills into our bloodstream and our body, and it breaks down every organ because sugar, as you know, is toxic. So it breaks down the lining of our blood vessels, our heart. That's why you end up with strokes and heart attacks. So in that case, you have to give yourself insulin. But what I was going to share is the fact that So my A1C when I was diagnosed was 5.9. And most people end up, well, no, I'm sorry, 5.7. And it ended up going to 5.9, and then it's now below 5.5. But when my son was diagnosed as having diabetes type 1, his A1C was like 12.8.
Oh, wow.
He was hospitalized. And so the thing that we don't realize is that this happens just in an instant, where your body just stops doing this and making the insulin that you need to actually survive. And so what I didn't realize 7 years ago was the decision that I made for myself and the health of my family, if you will, would change his life, because he now has a hemoglobin A1C of 6.7. And so that was a 50% reduction in his hemoglobin A1C. So I had a 10% reduction. I had 11% reduction in my weight. I dropped 4 dress sizes, had a flat stomach after 3 kids. I had all of the great results. But when I tell you, being able to help my son in that way, because I now know how to eat, to live, and the things that I had to do to change my life have absolutely saved his life. Because he's going to have this disease, or he was diagnosed as having it. I'm not claiming that he actually has it, but he's got to live with this condition for the rest of his life, and he's 13.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when you told me, and we were like, what?
So the reason why I share that, guys, is that you don't know what impact your life is going to have on others.
Yep.
So hopefully you are walking in your purpose, but you want to be able to do that with energy. You want to do that with ease and grace, and you want to be able to give to your friends, to your family, the people that you're meant to serve in life. You want to do that at the highest level of your of you. And so that's why it's so important for me to continue to share my story, now my son's story, because this is something that you can absolutely change. So in my case, it was pre-diabetes. Now I'm not going to get diabetes. In my son's case, we are actually reducing his A1C, and he had an appointment Thursday, and his body is still making insulin.
Oh, okay.
And so I am convinced that we are going to walk this thing out, and we're going to reverse his diabetes. So it's possible, guys. It absolutely is possible. So I was only on step 2, and I digress. Sorry.
No, I want to share some of the comments that people are sharing. So Netta is saying she was diagnosed with gestational diabetes, which a lot of people are, with my first pregnancy in 2009, and type 2 in 2015. I also have family history of diabetes and heart disease, and have been overweight since high school. So yeah, you definitely want to get a hold on that. And then someone earlier commented that, let me find them. Dina says she is a sugar addict. She needs help desperately.
Okay. Well, like I said, the thing from a perceived addiction perspective is that it is a chemical, just like anything else. Sometimes you can be addicted to drugs, but the sugar acts like a drug in our brain, and so it increases the dopamine levels in our brain, and that is our reward signal. And so you kind of get in this signal and this pattern of oh yeah, this is you're lighting up your brain and telling your brain, give me more. But when you have too much, you end up having that sugar crash, and then you have the low energy, and then you feel like you have to do and ingest more sugar in order to get that rush again. And so it's this huge cycle. And so what I did to my third step of the process was to gradually reduce sugar out of my life. Now, 7 years ago, the only sugar substitutes, or the majority of the sugar substitutes that were on the market, were artificial sweeteners. And so I went from drinking regular Pepsi to a diet Pepsi, knowing that artificial sweeteners, in my mind, caused cancer. And but I wanted to make sure that I was not quitting sugar cold turkey, because I mean, it's 40 plus years of eating sugar. You want that flavor. And so I did that for about 2-3 months, and then I took the step down from there, and then I started to sweeten my drinks with stevia, which is a natural sweetener. And monk fruit is the next step in the next progression. And the thing is that I use the glycemic index to kind of make that transition. So I went a couple 3 months with everything. So not just my drinks. So there are cookies that are artificially sweetened. There are chocolates. There are cakes. I found all of those. I did, because my family was still eating desserts, and I really wanted to still participate in there. And so I did. I found all these things that were artificially sweetened, just to kind of wean myself off of this sugar. And then I said, okay, Kathy, you know better. Let's get this artificial sweetener out of your system. And then I only chose to eat things with stevia and monk fruit. But then I switched out a lot of the desserts for fruits. So now I eat an apple or berries or blackberries, blueberries. Those are my staples as far as desserts. And I know y'all are saying, how you go from cake to berries, but I promise you that if you do it for a gradual amount of time, and you do it for a period of time, and you gradually step down, your taste buds start to change. And I can now, and this is a true testament, I can now have, in that whole time, I was making lunch for my kids, and I had Oreos in their lunch, and usually I'd take an Oreo and pack a couple, but I could be around it. I could be around caramel, all of those great things that I adore, and still not have that like you said, that addiction or that craving for those things. Number one, because I changed my mindset, but number two, because I still have things that I eat that have that sweetness. May not be the 40 or 50 grams of sugar, might only have 5, but I have something that I've replaced those things with. So there are Kind bars that have 5 grams of sugar in it. So if I wanted something after a meal, I would have that. I had it in my car, my purse. I was always prepared. And so that's the other thing, is that you have to be prepared. So it's all about preparation, being prepared, and anticipation. So the planning around, what situation am I going to be in today that's going to, kind of help me to, or what situation may I possibly be in where I need to make sure that I plan for. So you're going to be on a car ride for an hour or 2 hours. Put some nuts in your bag. So we tend to get bored. So our emotions actually dictate more of why we reach for something than anything else. So out of boredom, you might say, oh, well, let's stop and get some chips, or let's stop and get a sticky bun, whatever. You just pop some nuts in your mouth, and you're able to satisfy the sweetness, or that just boredom, or just something to do. But I do. Deanna knows, and many of the people know here, that I did a series on cravings. And so I've got a what to do when you're craving something sweet, what to do when you're craving something savory, crunchy. I can't remember what the last one was, and salty.
Salty.
Yeah. So many times you do have to kind of look at the reasons for that addiction. So a lot of it is that reward system, but a lot of it is emotional as well. And if you do that work to really understand why you eat out of emotion, for example, why you eat out of boredom, and then you just plan for it. You know, I'm going on I'm got to go pick up my kids. I need to make sure that I have a snack in the car. And if they're eating something sweet, if your family's eating something sweet, have something that you can turn to that is going to satisfy you as well. So I hope that. Do you have cheat days? I just saw that. Do I have cheat days? I actually don't. Because like I shared, I have made a decision that I get to be here in my healthiest form. And like I said, my why is being able to travel the world with my husband and my family. I get to live in my my older years now. I've got a story. My parents are 80, 85, and 95.
Wow.
And my dad stopped driving at 90. They live in a single family home.
Wow.
So I've got very capable parents, and I've got longevity in my genes. And so I know I'm going to be here for a long time. So I need to be the healthiest I can be. And I want to be as independent as they are in my older years. So, but I don't have to have cheat days, because everything that I eat is good. And so, like I said, I've done all the research. I've got snacks that are 5 grams of sugar or less. I've got a whole list of drinks that are 5 grams of sugar or less, or sweetened with the natural sweeteners. I even have a list of alcoholic beverages that are 5 grams of sugar or less. So I got you. You don't need a cheat day.
So someone just asked, and I did ask a counter question, but someone just asked, does a Premier Protein shake have too much sugar in it? My counter question is, well, what does the back of the package say?
Yeah.
So there's no way we can tell unless, because, you know, there's various flavors and things like that. So if there is a question, you should always go back to go look at the side or the back of the package with nutritional facts. And it will, and by law, it has to list, you know, how much fat, how much sodium, how much sugar, carbs, all that stuff, as well as the ingredients from most concentrate to the least. And so you have to, you know, do some assessment based on that. But with that question, what I would like to pose to you, Kathy, is how many grams of sugar a day do you think people should target?
Well, so it's a different, it depends. So the answer is it depends. It depends on where they are in their journey. So most people can be at about like 150 or more grams of sugar. And that's probably the amount that you should probably have in a month, or not a month, in a whole week. But if you are trying to reduce the sugar out of your life, you just have to do it on a gradual basis. But for me, I'm at the point where, how much sugar do I eat? Maybe 15 to 20 grams of sugar. So, you know what, Deanna, I'm going to have to actually come back and answer that question, because I haven't really tracked it on a regular basis, because, you know, there are things that you can eat that have a label, but for example, apples have 20 grams of sugar in it, where berries may have 5. So it depends on what it is that you're eating. And so what I do with my clients is I do an audit of not only their pantry and refrigerator, but they, also a week's worth of their eating. And we do that with an app to track their meals and that sort of thing. So it's a loaded question because, you know, you can eat 3 apples a day and that be 60 grams of sugar, or you could have a big old pie or have a Pepsi and that's 45 grams of sugar. So, you know, it really does depend.
So what I'm hearing is the quality of the food counts. So
that's right.
Nutrient dense the food is counts even though fruit naturally has sugar in it, it's Earth's candy. The thing about fruit that helps counterbalance the sugar
is the fiber. Yes.
Helps the sugar might want to spike the blood sugar, but the fiber will help stabilize the blood sugar. So it's a counterbalance.
That's right.
Whereas
not only that, and the fiber will make you full as well.
Correct.
Fuller. Yes.
Versus a cake or pie, which is full of refined, lack of nutrient, not nutrient dense, and it's refined sugars, flours, and all that stuff. That could spike your blood sugar and keep you up there for maybe an hour. And then all of a sudden you might, crash. And your body didn't even really get much of a nutritional benefit from it. So, so that's what we mean. And you might be hungrier even after you eat the thing.
That's right.
So
that's right.
A whole lot of things. And Kathy's right. It's not one size fit all. It's not one simple answer. But read those labels, guys. Read those labels. So, I did want
to read the labels, and then number 2, when a lot of people are making choices around their diet or a diet, I can't really tell you one thing or another. It's very, very personal, and you guys should absolutely make sure that you are making sure that what you're doing fits in with your life. And so one of the other steps in the process for me was to monitor what I ate.
Okay.
So I use, you can use different apps. You can actually write things down as well to monitor what you eat. But then if you also monitor your blood sugar, that will help you to determine what to eat, when to eat it, and how much to eat. And so I think that's one of the biggest things as far as the process that I went through was the gradual reduction, but also monitoring. You cannot measure what you don't monitor. So if you measure your blood glucose level in the morning, then you can figure out what you did last night to affect your fasting blood sugar level. So I was eating all the right things, but then at 9 o'clock at night, I was having popcorn and a glass of wine with my husband, and it spiked my blood sugar. I would not have known that had I not started to take my blood sugar in the morning. So what I did was I took my blood sugar right before I ate, and then 2 hours after. And so if you do that, I call it my personalized medicine plan, because it really does tell you and show you what each food that you eat, whether or not that's a drink or a food, how that affects your body.
Right.
And then you can make those tweaks along the way. And maybe it is just changing the portion size, but it could possibly be switching out a carbohydrate for some beans, like a white starch, if you will, for some beans, and then that can kind of change your whole trajectory. So it's not one size fits all. It's very personal to your body shape, your metabolism, the way you move your body. And so you may be able to ingest more carbs or sugar. And if you burn it off, then it's not going to have that effect on you. But if you are monitoring, then you absolutely will know how much to eat, what to eat, and when to eat it.
So I have a few comments here, so I want to get to them because we kind of skipped them because they were higher up. But from Dawn, I am a type 2 diabetic with a family history of it. I was diagnosed with prediabetes. Oh, no, that's Marilyn. So Dawn, let me continue with Dawn, then I'll come back to Marilyn. So Dawn says she now takes insulin shots daily to control her type 2 diabetes. She's lost 50 pounds in the last 2 years, but letting go of sugar is hard.
Okay.
And I thought I saw another follow comment. Okay, so that was her. And then Marilyn, hey Marilyn, she was diagnosed with prediabetes pre-pandemic. Her current A1C is now 5.4.
Hey, congratulations.
So it's coming down. And so Terry, so they've been busy here in the comments. So Terry, she said, I bought a pint of keto butter pecan ice cream because it has only 1 gram of sugar per serving and 3 grams per container. I just noticed it has 8 grams sugar alcohol. What is that, and is it bad for you?
So sugar alcohols are what is produced when they extract sugar from things. And so it's naturally occurring byproduct it's a naturally recurring byproduct of the refinement of sugar. And so it is natural. Many of them show up as natural. Xylitol is a sugar alcohol. Let me see, I've got a whole list. Let's see, sugar alcohol. So yeah, xylitol, sorbitol, erythritol, all of those are sugar alcohols. Now, the body absorbs sugar and sugar alcohols differently. So the only problem with sugar alcohols is that if you eat too many, sometimes your gut does not react to it nicely, and so you might get diarrhea. So you just want to watch the sugar alcohols, but they're naturally occurring, so they're not going to spike your blood sugar like a artificial sweetener will. And like I said, I use the glycemic index as a guide, and many of those. So if you think of sugar as 100, most of your sugar alcohols are maybe 5 or 6. The natural sweeteners are a 0, so they're not going to spike your blood sugar at all. But table sugar is about a 60 on the glycemic index. So yes, the sugar alcohols are better than the artificial sweeteners, and they actually have a good taste to them as well. And then if you guys go to my my channel, Sugar Free Nation, I did a taste test of, I think, about 6 of the ice creams, the different ice creams with 5 grams of sugar or less, or maybe it has 8.
Which channel? Instagram or YouTube?
I did it on Facebook, Sugar Free Nation. Yes.
Oh, I'll try to put that.
And then I did see someone, when we were talking earlier about sugars, there was a comment asking whether or not fiber, if you subtract the fiber from sugars, should subtract that. And it's actually, when you think about the number of net carbs. So if you have your total carb intake minus your fiber, that's your net carbs. So the fiber, it's more of a calculation that you do when you're looking at cholesterol, not cholesterol, and carbohydrates as opposed to sugars.
Right. So
what other questions do you have?
Yeah, so they asked, do you use MyFitnessPal? What do you use?
Yes, I do. I actually have several apps that I use. MyFitnessPal, MyPlate is one that I use to track my food as well. Lose It, Fitbit, and then there's one that's called Health Tracks. They all will help you with monitoring your overall, all of the macros, but these are the ones that actually will show you what your sugar level is as well. So
are they free?
Those are the ones. They are. They are.
Okay. Okay. So, you mentioned earlier about emotional eating, and I know several people have told me that, when they get emotional, something happens, someone says something, or something happens to someone they care about. One of the first things they reach for is something high in sugar, like ice cream, cakes, cookies, and all of that.
Yes.
What advice do you have for someone who has that leaning?
Yeah. So, like I said, you have to do the work. So when you talk about a lifestyle change and you talk about really changing the way it is that you show up in the world, if you will, it's all about moving your body. It's all about your health and nutrition. It's all about changing your mindset. So it's this whole holistic approach, and it's not some quick fix. It's something that you want to do for the rest of your life, the way you want to be for the rest of your life, so that you get to have the rest of your life. It's awesome. But as it relates to emotional eating, many times, like I said, it's stress is kind of one of those triggers, or sadness. Depression is one of those triggers, and it all has to do with the chemicals in our brain. When we get stressed, cortisol levels go up, and that kind of ignites the area of our brain that wants to kind of fix that. And so you've got all of these things that are going on, and you really need to take that step back and write down the emotion, not only the emotion that you're feeling at that time when you're starting to grab, when you're really not hungry. So if you take 20 minutes and say, okay, I'm feeling like I want to go and get something. And if you take 20 minutes and kind of do that evaluation, that self-evaluation, what emotion am I feeling right now? What story am I telling? So if you can take that from the emotion to what does this mean? What am I making it mean? Right. Then you can kind of really get to that underlying factor as far as what it is that you're actually feeling. That's my son.
That's 13?
No, that's 21.
Yes. That's a tall 13.
Yes. And then it does two things. It helps you to really, really kind of peel back the layers as far as the emotion, the emotional trigger, but it also helps you to determine whether or not it's an emotional response or whether or not I'm really hungry. And is this something that I really need to satisfy with some protein, a carb, and a vegetable, or is it the bag of chips, or is it, the cake or the pie or what have you? So there's a couple things. So doing the work to kind of really evaluate the emotion, taking that 20 minutes to really say, okay, am I hungry, or am I just responding to the stress or the emotion? And then the third thing is, I talked about power partners. So in one of the programs that I have, we talked about a nutritionist, a physical trainer, but having a therapist, having a behavioral specialist is paramount in your life to making sure that you are dealing with whatever those emotional triggers are. So absolutely, it's something that you do need to address. But if you just take that quick 10-20 minutes to say, okay, is this an emotional type of trigger, or am I really hungry? And then make the decision to satisfy your hunger.
Correct.
Not your emotion.
So Dawn has another question, and I guarantee everyone we will get to all of your questions, so keep them coming. How do you determine how much sugar is in fruit?
So like I said, so Google is your friend, number one.
Yeah.
But you don't actually need to do that. So I use the glycemic index. And so the glycemic index is the way in which it's a scale, if you will, from 0 to 100. It's a scale that will tell you how your body will break down the carbohydrates that you are ingesting. So from 0 to 55 is a low glycemic index number. 56 to 69 is medium range, and anything that is over 70 is considered high on the glycemic index. And so we can go through different apples, so or fruits rather. So I shared that raspberries, anything in the berry family, are going to be low in the glycemic index. Apples, pears, they're around 38 or 40. Oranges are 42. Kiwi are 47.
Oh.
And bananas are 52. So everything under 55 is low, and so that is good for you. But pineapple and cantaloupe are 59 and 69. So those are in that mid-range, and watermelon is a 72. And so you don't necessarily need to be Googling everything as far as the sugar content, but if you just use the glycemic index and you're in the low range, you know, those are the fruits that you could potentially eat. And, you know, same thing with cereals, grains, dairy, sweeteners, different snacks. So everything has a glycemic index number. But what I do is I make sure that I'm choosing as low as possible on the glycemic index, because quite frankly, I like fried carbs.
Oh, you like fries?
I do.
Fries, fried chicken.
So yeah, so fries, I like potato chips. You know, I like all the things just like everybody else does, but I just don't compound them. And so if for example, I need potassium. So I used to eat bananas. I no longer eat bananas because kiwi are lower on the glycemic index. From a vegetable perspective, I used to have corn at every meal. I don't do that. I have all like nice green kales and collards and broccolis. So those are lower on the glycemic index. When I have a burger and fries, so I no longer order a full order of fries because I will eat a whole order of fries.
Yes.
And I have my burger wrapped in a lettuce wrap. So I just grab one of my kids, like a handful of my kids' fries, and I have a lettuce wrap burger. So I'm not eating the bun, plus the fries, plus the drink. You know, I'm not compounding the number of carbs and the sugars that I'm eating on a constant basis. Like I said, nothing I eat tastes like cardboard, and I'm satisfying myself. So I'm not kind of starving myself of the things that I love, but I am doing things in moderation, and I'm also doing things that are lower on the glycemic index.
So that's, no, I wasn't trying to interrupt, but that was one of the things that really resonates with me, and something that I practice as well. When the world was open and I used to go to the movies, that was a treat for me. So I'm going to get the popcorn. I'm going to get the soda. But the trick is, what I got was the kiddie pack.
Yes. You don't have to eat the whole bucket.
First off, the small is the bucket. I was like, that's a small, okay. Y'all, you're funny. So I would get the kiddie pack, and with the kiddie pack, you get a popcorn like this big or whatever.
Yep.
I put all the oil, that ain't really butter, but oil and salt and everything on it. And then the drink, it's going to be a Coke, but it's going to be smaller.
That's right.
Small is like 32 ounces or something.
That's right.
So I get my Coke, and then it comes with a little pack of candy, and I used to give that to one of my kids or my husband, because I don't eat. But that was my treat. I didn't go all out with everything. And also, if my husband or somebody makes a real quick run to fast food, and I just feel like it that day, I tend to go with the kiddie meal, because it control your portion for you.
that's right. Yeah, we are out of control as far as portion control is concerned. And you're right. I did the same thing. I do the same thing as far as when I'm when I was at the movies. I would do the kitty pack, and it's all about proportion. It's all about making those small adjustments so that you're still enjoying your food, you're still enjoying what you're eating, but you're not compounding. Like if I have something in the morning, sometimes you can go and get those breakfast sandwiches. You know, you can take one of the sides of the sandwich off and then cut it in half and still be able to enjoy that carb. And then if you're having a sandwich, so I would have like a tuna melt or a chicken salad or something. I just put that over a bed of spinach, and they slap the cheese on and they warm it up and it's still good. Right. But I'm able to have my little bit of not French fries in this case, but potato chips, because I've cut down my morning portion and I've cut down that lunch portion, so I can have those chips. And then at dinner time, I won't possibly have a rice or anything, but I'll have a cauliflower rice, or I will have maybe some black beans and salsa. That's my go-to side now. So it's still a carb, but it is a fiber-rich carb that I'm choosing. So it's all in your strategies. It's all in the portion control and using these tools. Like we talked about, the making sure that you understand what's in what you're eating, using the glycemic index, and then most importantly, really truly monitoring what you're eating and your blood sugar, and then you know what you can eat. So I would eat. I used to eat pizza. Can't eat pizza anymore. Deanna, I made a crustless pizza on Friday night, and I'm like, oh, I can have pizza again. It was great. It was great. You can do cauliflower pizza as well, crust pizza. But it was just like eating a regular pizza. So, but for me, when I had my blood sugar after I had a pizza, I was like, oh, can't do that anymore.
Because that got you all the way loose. So we have questions. We're coming up on the hour. I want to make sure everybody's questions get answered. I want to make sure we stay on time.
Yes.
As well. So Regina has a question. Did you see other physical and mental benefits after becoming sugar-free?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So the clarity in my thinking, I didn't no longer have that fog of that brain fog, if you will, of forgetting things and that sort of thing. My energy level. So I'm a high energy person from the jump, but I'm absolutely first to get up and the last one to go to bed. So I've got a high energy level. So it's little things like that. From the standpoint of my skin is as clear. Now I drink a lot of water as well, but you'll start to see your skin to make a change when you give up sugar as well. So there are a lot of intangible things other than the dropping your weight and the waistline reduction and that sort of thing. But I'd say definitely the clarity of thought and my energy level were other areas that helped.
Awesome. So hope that helped you. I also wrote a blog post about that, how going sugar-free helps boost your beauty. So, and not the face-wise and skin-wise and thought-wise and energy-wise, but also waistline. So, Lynetta has a question. Are sweet potato fries a better alternative to white potato fries?
So they are. Let me tell you. So from a glycemic index perspective, a white potato is 76, and a sweet potato. Let's see. No, that's right. That's not right. Let's see. Fruit starches. So a sweet potato is 48, and a white potato is 76. So anything over 70 is is in the high range of the glycemic index, and anything under 55 is in low. So again, the answer is it depends. And so what I learned in my research is that with sweet potatoes, it depends on how you do prepare it. So you can put a sweet potato in the oven and cook it, versus it being boiled on the stove, and it changes the glycemic index of the food. And so you have to be careful. So the reason why we like baked potatoes and baked sweet potatoes in the oven is because it has a higher glycemic index. So it's got more of it just breaks down chemically the sweet potato. So I'd say yes, it is definitely better than having a white potato, because just basically the glycemic index. But I will actually do a little bit more research and find out fried to fried what the difference is in the glycemic index for you. But yes, based on the glycemic index alone, sweet potato fries are better for you. But like I said, with the sweet potato itself, it does matter how you prepare it, as far as, because it could possibly go back up depending on how you prepare it.
So we have one question left, 2 minutes. Brown rice has no sodium. Jasmine and basmati rice are low in sodium. Are they okay to eat as well?
So rice is a starch. White rice is 85, huh?
So she's pulling out that index.
Yes. And basmati is 58, and so that's up in the mid range, and brown rice is 50.
Okay, so what was at the high range?
High range was white rice, 85.
Do they have jasmine rice on there?
Jasmine is not, but I can do some research.
But you said basmati is like 48, 58.
58, yeah. So it's in the mid-range.
Mid-range, and brown rice.
Yes.
Was
brown
40?
Rice is 50.
Brown rice.
So, but again, ladies, I want you to do this in a stepwise fashion. So if you are taking and wanting to change your rice consumption, so I would say go from your white rice to your basmati rice, and then go from that to your brown rice, and then go from that to your cauliflower rice. So who is it? Chipotle has cauliflower rice on their menu. You can go from 45 carbs in the portion that they give you in Chipotle. If you choose their white rice or even their brown rice, is probably a little less than that. And then you can go to 3. And it is so flavorful. They put in lime and cilantro in this cauliflower rice. And it's all mixed up with everything else. Going from a burrito bowl, a burrito to a burrito bowl. You taking those carbs out. You still have the rice in there. Mm-hmm. And then taking the rice and then stepping down to the brown rice, and then stepping down to your cauliflower rice. So these are things that you have to do in progression in order for you to be successful. Because the thing is that you want to make choices that you can sustain. So if you go from white rice to cauliflower rice and you're like, this is not rice. And you're frustrated, and then you're going to kind of be in that cycle of stopping and starting, and it does not work. Yeah. So if you use the glycemic index and you kind of step down, you will be more successful. Now, like I said, if you're not able to do this, get a coach. Have someone to help you to do all the things that you need to do in the right order. And so you got to stay in the step you're in and make sure that you are doing things in the right order, and you will be successful.
Yep. So we are on the out. Thank you so much. I learned a lot real quick.
Yeah.
is a coach. She can help you transition to sugar-free living gradually, slowly, and in phases and stages. So you're not frustrating the heck out of yourself, but also slowly but surely and gradually benefiting, getting the health benefits from that positive transition. So I have a link. It's in the description as well. So definitely, you know, check her out, reach out to her, you know, set up a consultation, see if you know, if it work out. Also, she has a site, Sugar-Free Nation. Where there's more information on services that she offers.
So Sugar-Free Nation is my Facebook page.
Okay, well, I included that as well. Your Facebook.
Okay, good.
Comment. So scroll through the comments. It's near the bottom. I included that. Cop her book, Also Sweet to Live Sugar-Free. I included that link to Amazon in here, and some proceeds of that goes to.
It goes to the, so 5% of the proceeds go to the American Diabetes Association.
Awesome. So to the ADA. So that's awesome. And is there any final words you'd like to share, Kathy? Where do you get your where do you get your glycemic index? That's what I want to know. Which one are you using?
So it doesn't matter which one you use. And so that's the other thing, is that everything that I do is based on science. So I like I said, measurement using the glycemic index, these are all things that you need to take in consideration. So there are there's one in the appendix of my book. There's a more detailed appendix on the glycemic index in my book. You can Google there. I mean, yeah, there's no way that you are not able to find exactly what you need. Now, I do have a question for everybody though. So what is your food kryptonite? So what one thing that if you were told to give up today, you couldn't do? So tell me in the chat.
Well, I can't do it. I have done it, but sometimes people, ice cream is mine. So
ice cream.
If it's in the house, I'm going to eat it. But I've been able to go. I have gone without it, without bringing it.
Mm-hmm.
That rice. Yeah. She was asking about all the rice. That's why she was asking.
Good. No, I've got a process for that too. Yes, absolutely. Bread. So, and so all of these things, I myself have just given up. I just gave up caffeine. And that was a story I told myself I couldn't give up as well. And so I've been successful in doing that. I did a 21-day fast. Yeah.
Wow. Fun.
But 7 years ago, I didn't think I could give up sugar.
And you did. So
I did.
But we have rice, bread, chips, desserts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it is your taste buds, because honestly, I do like chips. Rice, that's fine. Bread, I could go without. But they could put the bread, hot, warm bread in front of me, and I won't eat it at the restaurant. Yeah. Desserts, I don't like cooked fruit or hot fruit, so I don't like cherry pies. I don't like cooked fruit. Yeah. Fruit is made to be fresh, so. To me, dessert is ice cream, period. Yeah. So yeah. So, well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I know you had a choice this Sunday afternoon. I appreciate you sharing some of this with us. Some of your time with us. I hope this was helpful and useful. Reach out. Check out some of the resources that are listed in comments. And thanks again to Kathy.
You're very, very welcome. And I'd love to come back if you guys still have other questions or any other topics. What was that?
So there's still questions coming.
Oh, well, I'll be glad to circle back and
in the comments
and to do the comments. And then like Deada said, we can set up a consultation where I can kind of figure out what's kind of getting in your way. And I've got several programs. I'm sure there'll be something that can help you to get to where your health goals need to be. And that's the thing that I want for you guys, is that just like I shared my vision at the top of the hour, I really want us to be healthier as a nation. So COVID has really wreaked havoc on the African-American population, and it's because of all of our underlying conditions. And so it's one of those things that we have the most control over. And so if you change your health, your immune system, then you are able to handle viruses like the flu, the COVID, all of these things that come in. This is not the first pandemic that's going to be, unfortunately, going to occur in the world. And so it's very, very important that we as a country and we as African Americans make sure that we take a hold of our health. And so that is, Deanna and I have both been in the healthcare field for over 20 years. And it is truly a passion, and it's one of those things that we're here to help you. We're here to support you, and we've got the experience and kind of the know-how to make sure that you are able to walk in your purpose and you're able to serve your community, your family, whoever it is that you're meant to serve. But you can only do that when you're at your highest version of yourself. You're the healthiest version of yourself. And so I am honored to be here. Thank you, Deanna, for having me. Thank you guys for all of the great questions, and the like I said, I'll be sure to circle back, and if I can be any service to any of you, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll put a link in the comments as well as to how to reach out to me.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kathy. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
All right, you too. Bye.